Welcome IGTV community and YouTube community. I wanted to create a short 15-minute class for you so that you have something available for you anytime you need it that's easily accessible, regardless of where you go to for your yoga practice. If you've practiced with me before, you know most of my classes are pretty well-rounded and I try to touch on all the parts of the body in a full class experience. In this short 15-minute period, I'm going to put a little bit more focus towards neck and shoulders in this particular class. And I find it will be very beneficial if you're someone who spends a lot of time on your laptop for work and you're sitting at a desk a lot and you have some of that neck and shoulder tension. And we'll work through some other areas as well. If you enjoy this video and you want to practice more shorter sequences, I do have a few more 15-minute video sequences on my website, joffreyyoga.com, and you can check out the virtual yoga membership. For $10 a month, you get access to all the content there. There's video classes, audio classes. You can choose from 15 minutes all the way up to 16 minutes. So there's lots of variety there. But let's get started here for today's sequence. We're gonna start today in child's pose. This is where I start most of my classes. So just go ahead and come down onto your mat, hands and knees, big toes together, knees wide, and the arms can stretch forward. Your forearms will come down to the mat. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my 15-minute timer so I don't go over. And I just want you to take a few minutes here, even though it's a shorter class, to settle into a child's pose. This is such a great stretch. It's so valuable. You can rock a couple times from side to side here through your low back. You can roll your forehead side to side a couple of times. And then anything else that you need to just settle into stillness. A couple of modifications if this pose doesn't feel restful for you. You can always stack 2 fists underneath your forehead and build the floor up underneath your forehead. This can help alleviate any additional tension you might be feeling in your hips, neck, and shoulders. Wherever you've chosen to land, just start to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. In through your nose. Let's start with a sigh out your mouth. Do that 2 more times. Starting to feel some of the tension in your body soften. Start to feel a sense of beginning to get grounded. Whatever you've been up to today, whether you've just woken up or you've had a full day already, just take a moment to acknowledge anything you've done up until now. And then just place it off to the side. It will still be there for you when you finish your practice. Same thing with anything you have planned for after class. Put that off to the side. And just for this next 15 minutes, try to devote all of your attention towards yourself, towards taking care of your health and wellness, and carving out this time for you. If you haven't already, begin to smooth out your breathing in and out through your nose if possible. But most importantly, just try to smooth out the inhales and the exhales so that they match each other in length. We'll add just one little stretch here while in child's pose. You'll take your hands to your low back and interlace your fingers. And squeeze your shoulder blades, reach your knuckles back. To the degree that works for your shoulders, start to lift your arms away from your low back. Again, not straining it too much. Definitely shouldn't feel any pain. You can keep a little bend in your elbows. Take 5 breaths here, please. Two more. On your next exhale, you'll slowly release your hands. Reach your hands out in front of you. Straighten your arms. Press your palms down flat. And then use your hands to pull yourself up away from your heels. Your hips will lift up over your knees. Curl your toes under and come into your first downward facing dog of your practice. And just start to pedal it out through your heels. You can be super active here, moving in a mindful way, nothing rushed, to just open up the backs of your legs. Right, maybe a deep bend of the knees. Any downward dog rituals you have, go ahead and take. And then we'll settle in for 5 more breaths here. Try to maintain stillness, but it is still early and you might be pretty tight. So you can pedal out for the whole 5 breaths, or maybe for just 1 or 2 breaths you find a little bit of stillness. And just for your head and neck, just make sure you can nod your head yes and no lightly. No tension being held there. Good. And then bring your knees to your mat. You'll bring your knees together and your feet together, but you'll keep your toes tucked under. And you're just going to walk back your hands towards your knees to come into a toe squat. So you can keep your hands on your mat if you need some of that support, if the stretch is really intense, right? Or some of you might be able to just bring your hands right to your thighs and close your eyes, or just look down towards your mat and take a few breaths. Keeping shoulders relaxed, keep facial expression soft. And continuing, just like we did in child's pose, to find the smooth rhythm with your breath. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes the entirety of the whole class to just find that sweet rhythm with your breathing. Go ahead and untuck your toes, please. We're going to continue to stay seated on your heels, but this time giving a stretch to the tops of your feet. And we'll add in a little cat-cow stretch. So you'll open up your arms, kind of like cactus arms or goalpost. Gently press your low back forward and up. Your chest will lift up. Your heart will shine towards the sky. Take a deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, you'll reach your fingertips out in front of you. Pull your waistline back. Look down towards your belly. Chin tucks towards your chest. And then inhale to do that again. Open your heart, arch your spine, lift your chest. And exhale, reach and round. Okay, one more inhale. Exhale. Good, release your hands to your mat, come to tabletop. Keeping your feet together, take a V shape with your knees. So bring your knees wider than your hips, almost as wide as your mat, right? And then you're going to cycle through a few rounds of cat-cows here, just like we did seated, but on your hands and knees. It's an inhale to pull your chest through and arch your spine. And an exhale to round your spine, chin to chest, belly to spine. Right? Smooth it out, inhale. And exhale. Try to match and feel your own rhythm with your breath and movement. You don't have to copy my rhythm. Everybody's pace is different. Let's just do one more cat-cow wherever you are. And on your next inhale, you'll come back to a neutral spine. Right? You're going to take your right hand to the base of your skull, the back of your neck. And then take an inhale to bring your right elbow down towards your left wrist as much as it'll go, keeping your left arm straight. Right? It's an inhale. And then exhale to open your elbow up towards the sky. Inhale, draw the elbow down to your left wrist. And exhale, twist and rotate up. Try to look up at your right elbow. Good, let's just do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. And release the right hand down, other side. Inhale to bring it down, elbow to your right wrist. And exhale to open up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Back to neutral. Come down onto your elbows. Right elbow comes down to where your right hand just was. Left elbow comes down to where your left hand just was. And then you'll bring the knees into about hip width distance apart. And you're just going to walk your knees back until you start to feel your core engage. We're coming into a forearm plank. Right? And you can do this on your knees. If you want to add a bit more, you can lift the knees up. 5 breaths. I've already had my workout today, So I'm just going to do this on my knees so that I don't overextend myself. And then from here, you're going to just come all the way down onto your belly. Take your elbows wide and stack your hands underneath your forehead, lying down on your belly. A little wiggle through your low back feels really nice here. And then you're just going to count yourself down 10 deep breaths here. You can use your knuckles to massage your forehead side to side. And just feel the natural curvature of your spine. And feel your breath rise up into your back body. If you've lost count on your 10, just pick up wherever you think you left off. And then wherever you are, take one more breath in. One more breath out. Great. You're going to take your right arm out beside you, please. So looking at your right arm, make sure your right shoulder is in line with your right wrist. And then you're going to press into your left palm to just roll over to your right hip and stack your left hip on top of your right. Right, just a gentle stretch here for your chest. Relax your head. You can bend your left foot and place your left foot behind your right thigh. And breathe. Sweet. Start to roll back to center. Take your time to switch sides. Left arm will extend out. Use your right hand to press and roll over to your left hip. This is a bit awkward for me because my mic is in my left pocket. So I'm trying not to crush the microphone. Take a couple breaths. It's so good if you're working at your desk all day, hunched over your laptop, which in reality, all of us are pretty much these days, a large portion of our population. So really nice to stretch these areas. But also bring the yoga aspect into it and breathe and focus. So it's not just a stretch. You're actively working to be present. Okay, back to center, back onto your tummy. Bring your hands down beside you like you're preparing for a push-up. Just push into your hands, lift your chest for a little cobra. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, you'll press your hips up and come into your downward facing dog. All right, it's been a minute since we've been here. Maybe you got to pedal it out a bit. Maybe it feels pretty juicy to just find some stillness. Close your eyes. 3 deep breaths. Last one. Nice. Look forward like you're walking through the park. Walk your hands up. Walk your feet up to your hands. Good. And just hang out at the top of your mat. Forward fold. Right. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And then just walk your hands, both hands, over to the outside of your left foot and let your head go towards your left knee. Try to keep your hips still forward and square to the top of your mat. And try to press down through both feet as evenly as you can. Good. And then back to the other side, or over to the other side rather, hands to the outside of your right foot. Let your head go towards your right knee. Again, do your best and bend your knees any amount that you need to. You can see that I still have bent knees, and I've been practicing yoga for almost 11 years now. But I like to run, I like to cycle, I like to lift weights. So I do have what I hope to think is a healthy balance between flexibility and strength, right? So it's okay if your knees are bent. Good. Come back to center. Hands to your shins, please. Halfway lift. Inhale. Good. Exhale, fold forward. Let your head go. Push the stand. Reach your arms up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, fold forward, right back down. Nice and gentle. Hinge at your hips. Let your head go and bend your knees for comfort. Hands to your shins. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Good. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms reach. Look up with a long neck. Exhale, fold forward all the way back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press to stand, arms reach up. Maybe a little back bend if that feels nice. Last one, exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet as wide as your mat, please. Turn your toes out to 10 and 2. And then bend your knees. Sit into a squat as best you can. Hands come to heart center. Right. Squatting is difficult for you if you're still working to develop this range of motion. No big deal. It took me about 3 years in my practice to get to this place. I used to have to sit on a block. So you can sit on a block or you can lift your hips and place your forearms on your thighs. This will be a little bit more challenging from a strength position, but it'll still help you get that deep mobility into your hips. All right, 15 minutes ends pretty quickly. So from here, you're just going to come down onto your bum. I suggest lying down and giving yourself a little knee squeeze, and then time yourself maybe 2 or 3 minutes at least in a shavasana or a seated meditation. And that is your 15 minutes of yoga today. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time. Ciao. Namaste.